Poppy?
For his religion.
Champagne. Now let's talk about immigration because first of all, welcome to the EU. Barbarians. Hello, barbarians. Remember how you guys, kept sacking our cities and shit back in the day? Well, we totally forgot about that. So come on in. And that's really dumb. I think we can all agree on that. Like Sweden. How's that worked out for you, huh? How's assimilating the Muslims going?
Well, they are pretty assimilated in like their own subcultures and subcountries. So inside their own territories, I would say they are pretty much assimilated with like their own home countries.
Why have you given parts of Sweden to other people to make home countries in?
Because otherwise it would be considered racist.
Why is it racist to require them to solve their own problems in their own spot?
I don't know, because Sweden has a tendency to see ourselves as some sort of humanitarian country in order to help like the rest of the world, sort of.
All right, listen, I want you to talk to the rest of the Swedes. You tell them Host Eric's coming over there. He's going to kick some ass and take some names, all right? I'm going to fix Sweden for you. I'm going to kick all the Muslims out. Yes. Oh, my God, Eric, you're Islamophobic. How could you possibly say such a thing? Eric, that is so ignorant. No, it's not ignorant. What's ignorant is a worldview that says it's perfectly acceptable to oppress women and that that we have sacred shit. Well, we have shit that's sacred. Oh no, you can't talk about that. You can't piss on that thing. You can't whatever because it's sacred to us. Well, you know what's sacred to me? Keeping you the fuck out of Western civilization. Right? Yep. Do we want that fucking 14th century thinking infesting free societies? No, we don't. If you are a Muslim individual and want to come into this country, then I don't think you should come here unless you are willing to go through the protocol. The protocol is fair, it's just, it's good, and it helps you to become a real human being instead of a fucking retarded 14th century barbarian. All you need to do, you need to piss on the Quran, you need to draw some pictures of Muhammad, you need to say all is fucking stupid, you need to then, go into the mosque and rub shit all over the walls, and then you're allowed to come in here when you realize, oh, that was cool, that was a fun art project, and you put it up on the internet and celebrate the fact that you did it. Then you can come in here, you fucking retards.
Yeah, you would disagree with that?
Immigration. Sure, go ahead, disagree.
Yeah, well, the thing...
Go ahead.
Okay, well, the thing is that in Sweden, you can't separate in between, like, ideology and skin color. It's sort of like you become a racist if you're against Islam or any religion, basically. So, yeah.
Explain to them that race doesn't exist. Explain to your fellow Swedes, please.
Yeah, but they are more like the skin color, like the oppression of the skin color. There's even like a Black Lives Matter movement in Sweden, even though like Sweden has no history of oppressing black people in that sense.
Age of professional victims.
That's what it is. That makes Sweden the most violent of all societies. Why? Because it spends that much energy reducing individuals to members of their groups. Now, no, when I'm talking about Muslims being fucking retarded, I am not reducing individuals to their groups. I'm saying if you want to prove you're an individual who's distinct from that group, all you got to do is prove that you're not guilty of the same intellectual failings that the worst of Muslims, the worst of Islam, manifests consistently in the world. It's not like I'm saying, oh, there's a couple of terrorists, so therefore all Muslims are terrorists. What I'm saying is there's a vast majority of Muslims in the world who think it's okay to oppress women, who think it's totally okay to kill people because they made fun of their stupid fucking prophet. Yep. Fucking Egypt, the whole of Egypt had massive protests trying to get that filmmaker deported to Egypt to be put to death.
I have actually an example quite recently, just a few days ago. a 14-year-old Muslim kid was accused of raping a 12-year-old girl at a school. And when the teachers then spoke with his mother, the mother was more like, she cared more for the punishment for the son. Like, he was basically dismissed from the school, but only for a period of like 2 months.
I mean, I'd fucking kill him. He needs to be fucking taken out and fucking killed like a pig.
Yeah,
Like,
do you understand like
how
how
the street for everyone to see,
the
for the rest of the fucking scumbags to see?
The mother's concern wasn't for like the girl he was raping or
fuck the mother, fuck the family, deport the family, and take that fucking kid, gut him like a pig, pull his intestines out, and hang him from a fucking street lamp in Muslim town. Why not? Rapist. He's already a rapist at 14.
Yeah, but it basically what people say is like the mother should be deported as well because she shares the same values and like those are. Of course,
she should be deported. Of course, she should be deported. I wouldn't even do her the favor of legally deporting her. I just put her on a boat and shove her out to fucking sea. There you go, you stupid fucking cunt. Go have fun being a primitive barbarian out of sea. See how long you last. Let's play Lost at Sea. That's a fun game to play with the Muslim immigrants who do shit like that. I've got a game for you. We're going to lose you at sea. Let's see what happens.
But the thing is, they keep coming back. Like, some people are like dismissed from the country, but they keep coming back. It's not like they go to Denmark or something and then they just cross the border again and keep coming back.
Okay, well, if they're not like Mexicans, okay? Viva Mexico. Mexicans are not a problem. Trump's a fucking moron. I am not anti-immigration in general. What I am is able to make a distinction between Islamic immigrants and non-Islamic, right? And the reason is because deeply entrenched in everything they think and do is a distinction that says women must be subjected.
They're all ideologies incompatible with Western culture in general.
And that's why I don't see how in Sweden, the feminists are basically like, they're supporting like free immigration of free Islamic immigration. Now I'm like, how the fuck can't they, like, shouldn't they collide? Like, Islamic values doesn't have anything to do with modern feminism.
It's because they think beliefs are an identity thing rather than, they don't understand that political positions are actually political positions. They're not part of your identity. They're like, well, part of my identity is that I side with the disenfranchised groups. Well, listen, bitch, you need to stay out of politics then and let the men of Sweden stand on the fucking lines of Sweden and say, get the fuck out. Out you go. Here you go. Oh, you're not going quickly enough? Then I'm going to stab you in the fucking face.
Yeah, I mean, feminism in general, I would say in the U.S. and in Europe is not so much about, it has nothing really to do with anything that, you know, if you walked up to somebody in the street and you said, do you believe that, you know, women should be paid the same and have the same rights as men, all that jazz, that pretty much everyone you would talk to would be like, yeah, of course. But if you were like, all right, are you a feminist? They'd be like, no, I don't want to put a label on it. Like, you know, and that's because it's not become about those kind of values anymore. It's basically just anybody, it's an us against them thing. Yeah. Against basically white men.
Reclaim the term. I call myself a feminist.
Yeah, it's liberal guilt
and I hate Islam
and hate against white men. If you're not a white Christian male, typically, they will support you over even people like me that aren't specifically Christian. It's like, I'm a white male. I could be having shit beat out of me by anybody else pretty much that wasn't a white male, and if a feminist walked by that, they would probably be happy about it.
I've had feminists dismiss my arguments for the sake of me being a white male, so
yeah.
But here's the thing. I've never actually encountered these so-called SJWs, social justice warriors. I've not actually encountered them myself ever. I'm not sure if they actually exist. But what I will tell you is this, that the policies, whatever they are, whatever the cause is, I'm not interested in finding the group of individuals to blame for the policy. What I'm interested in doing is saying we need a clear-cut policy that distinguishes Islamists, Muslims, from everybody else. And we say, look, we don't do group shit. We don't put like, okay, we don't think, well, because you're from Sweden, you're stupid and liberal. Just because you're from Sweden doesn't mean you're not a stupid. Doesn't mean you're a stupid liberal necessarily. There's other Swedish people. There are people who are intelligent in Sweden too, and there's smart people who are fucking stupid liberals too. So the point is, we don't worry about groups in general, except for Muslims, because they are the alternative to a free society, and therefore we condemn it. We force them to come to terms with their own fucking wrongness. Same with China and Taiwan, actually. It's like, fuck China. We force them to come to... What's worst of all, it doesn't matter what's being done, is these people are not acknowledging that they are wrong.
But there's so much shit going on, like, up in the chain. We had our immigration minister was basically supporting ISIS on Facebook. So it's like it's all the way up into the government. Like the media, the cops, and the government are following.
Yeah, well, to address that point, Purple Puff, and moderate Muslims and radical Muslims it's a tricky dog to name the breed of, because a moderate Muslim is, technically speaking, not doing what they're called to do by the Quran. The Quran says even Muslims that aren't radical should be put to death by Muslims who are radical. And that's kind of the problem. You know, I hear this all the time. Anytime anybody brings up Islam, they bring up Christianity right next to it. What about Christianity? What about when they do bad stuff? What about when they kill people or do this or do that? And what I tell those people is like, but they're not, if they're doing those things, they're going against what the ideology calls them to do. If a Christian murders somebody, that is literally the opposite of what the Bible calls Christians to do. Whereas in the Quran, there's verse after verse after verse of infidels must be put to death. Infidels must be put to the sword.
But
sure.
So
hold on. I want to answer that though. Let me answer that, because I also want to address what Purple Puff in here says. Because the thing is, you might be right about that in terms of the text of the respective books, but that's not a good argument, because you don't ever want to get dragged into those texts as a justification either way, because there are crazy things that the Bible says that Christians don't really do, and we shouldn't assume that Christians do them because the Bible says that they should. Nor should we assume that Muslims do shit the Quran says just because it says they should do it. But what we should do is evaluate the actual behavior of actual Muslim cultures, as the laws they pass, the way they treat people, and how they act, and the rhetoric they speak as a common person in the streets. If you are a woman, you cannot walk in Tahrir Square in Egypt when they are protesting, because you will get raped. Why?
Oh yeah, no, I know that. I was talking more specifically just the argument of bringing up Christianity.
The ideology itself is a cancer. Christianity is absolutely not a cancer. Christianity is fine. Do sometimes people freak out in ways that are Christian themed? Sure. Like you said, that's not being Christian, and that's just, Christians have the central point right, which is basically we're looking to is peace. It's pro-peacefulness, pro-peace. You know, it's turning the other cheek shit.
It's like
matter has always been that way. It matters how it actually manifests in the world.
Right now, yeah, but like Christianity has also done some bad stuff, like the Great Crusade back in the days and shit like that. It's basically just like ISIS and all that shit are doing that now, but it's like the Black Crusade. It's Islam's time of doing the crusade now.
Okay, so
we were a military issue. It was not a religious issue. Religion was used to garner support from the peasants and the masses, but it was a response to 400 years of Islamic expansion. They were on Europe's doorstep before the Crusades ever even started. They didn't go kick in the Muslims' doors where they were just chilling out in the Middle East and having a good time.
Who cares about the fucking Crusades? To the extent that it was wrong for Christians to do that, then it's wrong for them to do it now, and we're grown up now, right? It's like, just because when we were kids, maybe we did something mean to a little girl, doesn't mean now that we're grown-ups we say, hey, mean kids, come here. Now you come be mean over here to these little girls because we want to make sure you have the same opportunity to be assholes as we did when we were kids. No, you fix the problem, you spank them. And in this case, we got to put them back where they belong and give them all the guns they want, and no boats, no planes. You stay there and you fucking shoot each other until you're done. That's simple. Well, I don't think we should kill them. It's not our responsibility to kill them. They need to kill themselves peaceful. They need to kill themselves to democracy. It's the only solution. Look at the Tocqueville. Habits of Democracy. It was known as far back as 1787. that without the habits of democracy, there is no fashion in which a assemblage of random tribes can become a nation state. So when you stick a bunch of people who are stuck in primitive fucking tribal warfare land and say, now you're a country, what do? They turn into a big fucking tribal